Hello, my name is Isabella Castro, and I will be discussing what I've learned about interpersonal communication between a romantic relationship, specifically between my boyfriend and I. We're officially dating for about 2.5 years now. We were first introduced to each other through our high school's Filipino American Culture Club back in 2018. We initiated our acquaintanceship through having that shared common culture um, with its appropriate values, norms, language, and symbols. With further discussion, we started to get to know each other more on a more personal level, discussing our other cool cultures that we were interested in and that we share, um, furthering the development of our friendship and increased interpersonal communication. One of the cool cultures that I noticed that we differed in would be the one about gender roles in communication. So that would include masculinity, androgyny, and femininity. And I noticed that the way I communicate would be more alongside the masculine way, where I have more of the tendency to use instrumental talk, where he would use more feminine aspects, like expressive talk. But we would both be according to the androgynous gender role, since we have that switch and we have a little grasp onto each one. Our differing forms of communication complement one another this way, so that's why we got along easily and we just found similarities through our differences in this way. As time went on, our relationship moved on to a deeper form of friendship, such that we used virtual communication when we exchanged numbers and social media, where we don't have to communicate face to face solely on campus, and we can carry on our discussions and move on to different discussions, such like about our family or any problems that we need help with emotionally or with our friendships. But virtual communication does have its barriers, where there can be a tendency to miscommunicate, misinterpret things, or have this mask of confidence. Emotions are able to be hidden behind virtual communication, since it removes the aspects of body language, tone of voice, any use of gestures. So it would be easier to communicate through virtual communication if you have those emotional, heavy conversations. So I use this to my advantage and asked him out through a Snapchat, because if I did it face to face, I knew I wouldn't carry the message clearly, confidently, and it would be awkward for the both of us if he did have if he shot me down, which did happen through the message. But I'm glad that I saved my face, and he did as well. He eventually changed his mind a week after, hence why we grew our relationship. So we eventually defined the relationship, and as that progressed, our communication and interpersonal communication also progressed as well and developed. But over time, it's normal. So over time, it is normal for couples' communication to waver. One of those instances would be miscommunication through not listening actively. So he would be playing his video games, and he would ask me about my day, and I would respond accordingly, but he would just be offering me short responses like, oh, okay, yeah, and that would be a form of pseudo listening, where he's not actually listening to what I'm saying. So I would test him by saying like random phrases or things that made no sense, and he would continue his process of responding not correctly, and then I would catch him and tell him that he wasn't actually listening to what I was saying, which is fine, but that's where communication starts to like waver, and so things would need to be addressed in order to establish constructive communication where listening to one another is shown and there's this respect for that attention and that affection, and then you would negotiate your disagreements as well, so that's also important. So interpersonal communication is imperative to maintain relationships that require commitment. There's this degree of communication competence that needs to be formulated in order to maintain, enrich, and define relationships, especially in one considered to be romantic. Understanding problems within communication allows us to support and develop communication competence and enrich relationships important to us. So thank you for watching. This is what I've learned within our romantic relationship, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.